taxation. We say that according to the Congressional Budget Office, the 10% of households in the highest incomes pay more than half of all federal taxes. They pay more than 70% of federal income taxes. Basically, how is that fair that they pay so much when we why would we make them pay more if they don't, if they're paying already enough? And also with that, the Tax Policy Center estimates that 46% of households, mostly low and medium income households, will pay no federal income taxes this year. Basically, that honestly, how is that fair that we are making them the upper class pay so much? Yes, they do have a lot of money, but how is it fair that they have to keep paying when even the underclassmen really don't have to pay all that much? Along with the debt and welfare, according to David S. Logan from the Tax Foundation, he said taking half of the yearly income of every person making between $1 and $10 million would only decrease the nation's debt by 1%. So, that's only out of the nation's debt, that's only $150 billion, which is not that much in the government's eyes. And if you take every last penny from every individual making more than $10 million per year, you'd only reduce the nation's deficit by 12% and the debt by 2%. So it's less than 2% is affected by this. And then along with the Bush tax cuts, one would think that the Bush tax cuts put more of the burden on the backs of the middle class and the poor. Not true. The Treasury Department analysis of how much the rich would have paid without the Bush tax cuts and how much they actually did pay, the rich are now paying more than they would have paid, not less. But the Bush investment tax cuts, for example, the Treasury estimates was that the top 1% of earners would pay 31% of taxes if the Bush cuts did not go into effect. With the cuts, they actually paid 37%. Similarly, the share of the top 10% of earners was estimated at 63% without the cuts. They actually did pay 60%. So the reality is that they pay 70% of income taxes. Do we really want them to pay that much more? Along with that, there are other states that have failed at making according to Frank Roberts from the Taxpayers League of Minnesota, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Illinois are all states that are most heavily reliant on the taxes of the wealthy. And among all of those are the biggest budget holes. Basically, they didn't work. So that's what happened.
One more points my opponent stated was that only 46% of people pay federal income tax, and that